Hello, everyone, and welcome to another session of Expert Insights Live. I've got Professor Tom Ye with me.
Hi,
Uh,
everybody.
Tom, before we begin, I would just like to confirm if there are people with us. So, yeah, if you can hear us, please just say, "Oh, there are people which have started accumulating." So we've got someone from YouTube. Avitenu says #Packt. Hello, sir. Uh, okay. Please tell us hi, hello, where you're from, where you're joining us from, so at least Tom would know that. And it's good to know that people can hear us. So, Tom, can you start with an introduction?
Oh, hi. Hi. My name is Tom. My student call me Professor Tom Ye. I am a professor at the University of Colorado Boulder. Is in the center of United States. With really we have lots of mountains, but we're pretty far away from ocean. And currently, I'm spending a year in California in the Silicon Valley area, and to study AI and to collaborate with the various AI companies here and while publishing my education material about AI. And it's been a pleasure to collaborate with Tushar at Packt to make my this math workbook I worked so hard to design to be more available globally and for the learners in different parts of the world. Thank you, Tushar, for inviting me for this event.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Tom. We've got a lot of people who joined us. So, Avitanu, who joined us first from YouTube, that she's from India. Then we've got someone on else as well on YouTube from Morocco. There's Anil Kumar, who's joined us. There's Ritvik, who's joined us on LinkedIn. Hello, Ritvik. And Ritvik is from Bengaluru. And then also Anil Kumar is from Bengaluru. Welcome, everyone. Uh, this is a very short session because Tom is a very busy person. So there's a ticker going on at the bottom. Uh, so just type in Tom, #Tom, as Ritvik has very smartly already jumped on and did. There are a couple of books to give away. After it is done, please, we'll pick up a couple of winners live for you, and you will win a couple of ebooks. Sorry, print books this time, all thanks to Tom. So, without any hesitation, if you have any queries, please please drop in your queries, and then I have a few of them, so I'll ask them as well. Oh, we've got so many people joining in. There's Fateh joining us from Pakistan. Hi, Fateh. And there is Jagan joining us from Toronto. There is Abhishek joining us from Kolkata. There is Yong joining us from California. Welcome, everyone. Please type in #Tom to win Tom's latest book. So, while we're waiting for questions from everyone else, Tom, I'll ask you my first question. What sparked the idea for this amazing book, Deep Learning with Math Workbook?
Uh, yeah, so I was expecting this question. Why do I do this? It seems to be very unusual to write a math textbook when I'm not a mathematics professor. I'm just a computer science professor. And the reason is that, contrary to a lot of people think about me, I'm not really strong in math. So math has been a harder subject. I'm strong in coding. I like to code, so I became a computer science professor. And when I was studying AI at MIT, and that was a long time ago, and we didn't talk about deep learning at all. So we were doing support vector machine. That was the strongest classifier at the time. So neural networks more like a toy. It didn't work. And then the deep learning revolution happened after I graduated. I
Mm,
did not receive my training, so I have to, as a professor, I found myself I have to study deep learning all from scratch as a student. So,
yeah.
and over the years, I had to just go back to do a lot of math by on paper, and then realized that is the best way for me to learn. So I brought some of my notes. That's how I study, like for instance, this convolution neural network and so on. And this is my study of how we could do the some of the this is what is this? I think this is a generative adversarial network. It was about 10 years ago when this sort of happened. So this is book is more about my sharing of my learning journey of deep learning. Hopefully, the way I found myself being able to connect to mathematics could be resonated to help a lot of people out there as well as you're struggling trying to understand the mathematics behind deep learning.
Sounds strong. And so, why is mastering math behind deep learning so important?
I think, as personally, I can speak from my experience. I'm the professor when I was saying that I'm teaching AI, but I always feel there's an imposter syndrome when I don't really know what's inside the black box. And then, if I really get into the mathematical level, that's when I feel I actually got it. And the thing is about what happened afterward, then you realize you are not an imposter. You can understand this, but you might
Mhm.
not even remember the mathematical equation. All you have to remember is this
Yeah,
experience that you have one time understood this. And then even though you don't remember, but you remember the experience that you understood this, you feel empowered that you could apply that mentality to other ideas in the future as well. So you are no longer an imposter. You could, if you want to, you can get into the black box.
yeah.
So
Zara in the comment
yeah,
section has answered the same question. From LinkedIn says deep learning without math and statistics doesn't have any meaning. Thanks,
good to
Zara.
see you, Zara. I've been seeing you a lot on LinkedIn too, supporting our initiative. Good to see you here today.
Yeah. She's joined us from Iran, by the way. So welcome, Zara. Uh, so yeah, if any one of you has any questions, please drop it in the comment section, and we'll pick it up. And having
And
said that,
so some of you might have seen my material about transformer, and this is really popular. I also brought with me my original illustration of transformer, which is nothing like what you're seeing today. And you can see this is an evolving process. See if I can find it. So this is my some of the filtering worksheet here, and I have my convolution neural network worksheet in the past, and and so yeah, and I think where is it? So this is the my original transformer diagram, and
Nice.
again there was I think I tried to solve it by hand like this, and that was also very basic compared to what I eventually get. So this is many years in process in the creation of this methodology.
I think that's what it is, right? Like when things get more and more advanced and more tricky, you always go down to the basics to make it simplified. But
Yeah.
having said that, we've got a first question from Ritvik on LinkedIn. What part of math is required? Algebra, trigonometry, or calculus? I guess he's inquiring about your book. To make the most of your book, what
Um,
part of math is
right. So
required?
I designed this workbook to actually help you revisit maximum application linear algebra as well. So you only have to know the multiplication. So, and I remember when I was English as second language learner, when my many years ago I moved with my parents to Canada as an immigrant, and I had to study English, and I did a lot of fill in the blank
Mm,
exercises. So I put the sentence as a blank, so fill it in, and I do a lot of those. And I realized, hey, if I could learn English in that way, maybe I could find a way to learn
mm,
mathematics of deep learning, which is language too. So that's how I designed this workbook to start from really simple fill in the blank. So for instance, this is my own copy from Tush, but I actually bought this from Amazon thanks
oh,
to Packt to make it available on Amazon. I don't know how to put this on Amazon. So anyway, so this is you start from the simple example. This is multiplication and keep building up in complexity. That's how you do it. So it's not like you really need trigonometry, calculus, and algebra. If you probably already learned the basic from high school, and so I also found many people that bought this and give it to their kids. They want to challenge their kids to solve this. And so there's quite a few examples that I've come across on social media over the past few months.
yeah. I think that brings me to my next question. Like,
And
sorry,
so
go on.
was it the Restrict?
Ritvik, yes, it was
Yeah, I
Ritvik.
like your photo. You're holding your with must be boy, right? Or so I think if the boy is just a few years older, hopefully you'll get to work on this.
Yeah, there is a comment on LinkedIn which says from Ajay Soni says it should be taught in schools, especially as a math module. So
Oh,
yeah,
that's what I
hopefully,
hope too. We already see some teachers adopting our material and to use in their classroom on the deep learning math.
Amazing.
But I not pretend to be a mathematics teacher. So I respect my math teachers. They know a lot more about math than I do.
Okay, so Tom, I'll move on to my next question while we're waiting for others to ask more questions. Uh, what advice do you have for those who are nervous about AI math?
What my advice? The question is, what is my advice for people who are nervous about AI math?
Mathematics, yeah, maths for AI.
So what I found it really useful is to go to a tool you are familiar with. So there's
Mhm,
one is the paper. If you are coming from a country where education system emphasize a lot about hand calculation, so you can
mhm,
go and calculate a few equations with concrete numbers, and the concrete numbers really help. So instead of seeing A, you see 3. Instead of seeing A plus B, you see 3 plus 4, which is equal to 7. And that is how I found it very concrete. If I get to use real number to see an example of, say, attention mechanism where these numbers are multiplied together, they help me.
mhm.
A second tool I found is that in terms of a computer software tool, I found Excel to be extremely useful. That is because many people are trained in Excel even in your own technical background, like from business, from finance, and even if you don't need to be a computer science major to use Excel. And that has a lot of ways you could understand the mathematics just by plugging some numbers and get it. So you don't have to just trying to find GPU or find a Jupyter notebook or sign up some expensive online service. Just there's a lot of free Excel stuff like spreadsheet software. So that's why I built a lot of my educated material in the Excel format right now to thinking about how it could be more accessible to a lot of people.
Yeah, I think on the same lines, the question that I asked about nervousness about math for AI, Shahid on LinkedIn has inquired about the same thing that I'm really interested in deep learning, but whenever I try to learn the math required, I drift away from the deep learning parts. The math starts to feel overwhelming and I lose track of my main goal. How can I learn the necessary math in a way that stays connected to deep learning?
So I was recently have a conversation with a friend of mine at Obama. Maybe I can share this. So they work on building the local inference, and they came from this being they are really strong in building engineering aspect. They one from VMware, and they really understand how it works to build like the container infrastructure. But
Hmm.
then they have to all of a sudden learn the deep learning and learn math. And how did they manage to do it? So that they said that once they realized that anything that can run on the machine, there must be some concrete numbers and must be some kind of matrix modification. So you go back to matrix modification, you can find a form that could put numbers in these matrices and see the actual numbers. That's why I am a big proponent of Excel, because that everything in sales, like a lot of sales. You can see the concrete numbers. And then you realize instead of symbols in the papers, a textbook, they like to show you Greek symbols, but under each Greek symbols is actually some numbers. So my recommendation is that if you want to go from the textbook Greek symbols, every time you see the symbol, you ask yourself, what is this the symbol represent? Is it just a one number scalar, or it is a vector, a series of number, or it is a matrix, a 2D table of numbers, or a tensor, 3D tensor, multiple matrices, multiple 2D matrices. So that is something, might be the first step I can recommend is think about you want to interpret the symbols. There's always a way that that symbol represent a number or many numbers or a grid of numbers or a multiple grid of numbers. So that's the first question you ask yourself, and you can ask your professor to help you as well.
Thanks a lot for that, Tom. There is another question from Avitanu on YouTube. She inquires how to understand the math equations in research papers. So,
I think that I just answered the question earlier. So first step, figure out what each symbol represents with a concrete number. If it's a scalar, you write a 3. And if it is like probability number, you write 0.4 because you know probability number is 0 between 0 and 1. And if
mhm,
it is, sometimes it could be a vector of probability numbers. For instance, if you follow the MacBook, you realize the output of softmax is give you a set of probability numbers. So that is the first step to understand the mathematical equations. So, and you can also think about the way that this paper were written. So in fact, some poor PhD student, I used to be one, and they will implement some MATLAB code and some code to get it to work. Now we have to find time to write paper. So we actually convert the code back to mathematical equation. So all the variable become a symbol in the paper. But then when we are readers, you have to go from opposite direction. You can think about how the student must have implemented. Is this a number? Is it an array? Is this a table? So they all have the representation at the code side that is about the underlying data type. So I think the first step to understand math questions in the paper is to guess what the data type is. Some paper did a fantastic job. The symbol can tell you what it is. For instance, they will put a vector sign on top of your symbol, then you know it's a vector. They use a capital letter, you know it's a matrix. So if you use a small letter, it was a scalar, one number. So this that will be the first step I recommend. Again, because I'm not a mathematical professor, I tried really hard to understand math. I just share my own tip that helped me understand math.
Perfect. So we're almost midway through because this is a shorter session. So Tom, I think this would be the right time to just do the first raffle of the giveaway. I'll just share my screen and we'll do the raffle live so that there is transparency and people know that I'm not the one selecting it. Ta-ta, share screen. Just let me know, Tom, when you can see my screen. So at least there. Wow, we've got 21 people signed up. Can you see my screen?
Oh yeah, I can see your screen.
Okay, so we've got 21 entries, as you can see over here. 21 different people have entered.
I'm curious how this works.
All you have to do is draw and look at my hands. My hands are here,
Oh,
so I'm not
okay.
doing anything. It will just pick up.
Oh, that's very fancy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anil Kumar D
Anil
is up.
Kumar.
Congratulations, Anil Kumar. I think we are connected on LinkedIn, Anil Kumar. So if you can just drop me a line. Yeah, given this is a print book, I would need your full name, address, and email address to ensure that the book reaches you.
If you
So
already have a book, we'll figure something out.
yeah. So yeah, if you could just get in touch with me. So congratulations, Anil Kumar. We have another raffle. We'll do it. We'll do the last one in a few minutes. So people, please continue commenting hashtag Tom uh, in the comment section. And yeah, please ask any questions if you have. Fateh Ahmed on LinkedIn inquires, can you please refer us to the correct sequence of your course on deep learning? Which video should be watched at first and where to end?
Right. Yeah. So if you would go to your YouTube channel, we have a YouTube channel. I posted some courses there, and it's some sort of random sequence. The reason that the same random is really about randomly I have some spare time that particular day, so I posted a video from my course. But if most of the time I don't have the random free time, so I haven't had a chance to really walk through the video sequence to suggest sequence. So I don't quite have a right answer for you. But this my goal for 2026.
I think we've lost you, Tom, in case you can hear me.
Oh, am I back now?
Yeah, you're back now. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Your goal for 2026, you were
So
saying.
which videos? So my goal 2026 is that so I have three different audiences. One are the professionals who have already taken deep learning when they were
Mhm.
students and they would like to be refreshed. And also I have a beginners who from other field, they want to get into deep learning. So there are different sequences for them. So I hope that I could design something that will cater both advanced and the beginners.
Perfect. Speaking of advanced and beginners, I had this question for you. Like, how did you design the book so that it appeals to beginners and professionals both?
So I guess the question is that how do I design a book for beginners and the professionals? So that is actually kind of hard. And so for the math workbook, I'm thinking more about the beginners in terms of the math of deep learning. So this is not meant to be an instruction book because as you can see, there's no text at all to tell
Mm.
you how the neural network does. But this book probably not gonna work at all maybe 5 years ago when nobody talked about AI, but now
Yeah.
everybody talk about AI. So the assumption is that you have heard about AI neural network some other place, but you could come here to practice the mathematic part of it. So
Yeah.
that's probably what I would say. So no one is an absolute beginner right now, just because when you turn on TV, everybody talk about AI,
Yeah.
but there are only few places talk about what's inside the black box. I hope AI by hand in collaboration Packt, that could be one of the places that to if you are interested in getting to inside the black box, that will help you.
Perfect. So Yong Chai on LinkedIn inquires that I'm finding deep learning fascinating, but with the rapid advancement of AI coding tools, I wonder, is foundational knowledge of deep learning still essential for a career in AI and machine learning?
So the question is that what is its foundational knowledge of deep learning is essential. So uh, when you this is when I was doing this, it's actually about 3 years ago. There was right after the ChatGPT was released, and I
Mhm.
actually had a choice of using my Jupyter notebook or redo the class. So I decided to throw away my Jupyter notebook because I've already setting a thread. The AI gonna do all the coding, and Jupyter notebook is just very hard to update. So I decided, hey, how much I can do with just by hand. And it turns out what I wrote 3 years ago is still relevant
Mm.
right now. So what did it tell you is this foundation knowledge, it doesn't really change much. And then I guess I realized over the years that it's not so much about this knowledge helpful. You're not gonna remember this equation, but you remember the effort you put in to understand, unpack the equation, that you overcame this difficulty and actually understand this.
Mm.
And then you could apply the philosophy later on to understand another next technical question. So what differentiates is that one person is willing to invest in this effort to understand fundamental versus the person who doesn't. So that is more a differentiation about the that whether you have a foundational knowledge. It's question more about do do you care about this enough to have invested hours to understand this? And people like to see that, employer nowadays like to see that you spend the effort, not like vibe code or just like, oh, anybody can vibe code a neural network stack, but very few. Well, there are more and more now, hopefully, to understand the fundamental, willing to spend the time to understand the fundamental. So I think maybe the knowledge is just the mean. The
Mm.
goal is really about your willingness to spend time to get into a black box. If you have the willingness and you will apply that to the next big complex problem the company want you to help them solve.
Thanks, Tom. Oh, there are more queries. Okay. So before I get on to them, so what was the hardest part of writing this book, Tom?
What is the hardest part to writing this book? So I the hardest part about writing this book, there's quite a few aspects. So one is that I never wrote a book. So I started with just publishing my first exercise on dot products. And it
Hmm.
became big because I get some reaction from LinkedIn, and I would create a next exercise. And the next exercise, before I knew it, it became a series. And and then I trying to see whether I can publish this. So I just self-publish. And so that is, I guess, what's hardest part is like learning how to publish my first book, the whole experience. And
Okay.
and and yeah, but and then the distribution is kind of hard too. So and when people from other countries study, they ask me to, so can I get a copy? I also figure out how to put the right stamp and got custom, take pay custom and so on. So that it's become not possible, invisible, right?
Okay.
So that's the main motivation when Tushar reached out to me then to form the partnership. So Pack is experiencing global distribution. So that is the backstory about this our collaboration. So the publishing business is no joke. It's very hard. That's why I should just focus on content creation and that the professional handle the publishing and distribution.
That's the perfect assembly, right? Like the perfect symmetry. So, and my last question to you, Tom, before I move on to the last raffle, being mindful of the time, is what change do you hope your book brings to the AI community?
I think people, the change I hope is that people will realize they I think the word in my mind right now is empowerment. That
Hmm.
it's not like you will remember how softmax work after
Yeah,
do the have to complete the work. Maybe you will remember maybe the next day, but you might not remember a month from now. But what you remember forever is that that was once a time you did this workbook, and you were able to calculate softmax by hand.
yeah,
That memory of your experience, I think, is important. I hope this is more about the journey they have been there. So realize you're empowered that when AI is like coding for you and doing all these kind of things to be threatening for your
mm,
existence, but that going back to the humanity, going back to by hand, going back to your human ability to get down to it, to slow down. And I think that is like an experience that I hope that could to help people have by completing this hand exercise. And I have the whole stack of my own hand exercises that over the years, and then I was just trying to condense them down into a very small. So it's 100% graphic. There's no busy text. Um, so anyway, that's what I hope, right? Like that, just like our empowerment. That's the keyword in my
yeah.
mind currently.
I think empowerment, yeah, it would be the right word to describe this book, like what it does. And you also have an amazing plan. So Tom and I were discussing backstage just before the live session started that we're trying to figure out how to get certifications out for people who complete the workbook and submit in videos to Tom or to myself through the Discord channel, which is within the book on the first page. So if you do that, we would distribute certifications out.
Yeah.
So
And then, so I've been doing this a lot because people would send me their completion while I was self publishing, and then also I have a pledge. I'm really proud that I got to work with some people in India. So I do have India edition and also
mm,
a Korean edition, and I so but then with Pack I also get to serve the rest of the world now, uh, and so that is uh right. Yeah. So with the pack, we could scale up the certification effort as well. So what I really care about not just buying it, putting it on the bookshelf, but this is an active
yeah,
invitation for you to go in and actually solve these puzzles. And yeah, you wouldn't believe how number of emails I received from parents who bought this book and give their kids, and they get kids to solve them, and they feel super proud and ask me, "Can I give a certificate?" So I did, yes, but with this time we could potentially scale up this effort to acknowledge all this hard work people put in into
yeah, and
getting.
we can do it for everyone, not just India or Pakistan or Korea, but globally. We could distribute those certifications to everyone, whoever completes it and sends the video in. But one important point, Tom, that you raised over there was about parents messaging you. And quickly to pick up a last question, someone on LinkedIn has inquired that I'm very interested in deep learning. However, I don't have any programming or coding experience, and I would love to influence my kids to explore this field early on. This session has been really insightful and encouraging. Regarding the beginner guide you mentioned, can young kids also start learning from your book? From
I think, yeah. So I have an 8 years old. He was able to do chapter one dot product because all he require is multiplication. And I don't expect he can finish the rest of the book, but it's just the
Mm,
experience that is the. I think the takeaway is this is not a magic. This not is it is just multiplication. So that will at least remove the fear of this deep learning seems to be doing all this magic from your kids. And as they
yeah,
grow up, they could be more and more wanting to get into the black box. They never just take it for granted as a magic. Only Google DeepMind engineer can understand. Really, this is not the case. It's just batch multiplication and do it, a lot of them in some clever way. And so that is probably a mindset you can instill in your kids at early when they are still early. They don't have to see this. They don't have to believe that it's magic. It is something they can understand if they want to.
perfect. Thanks a lot, Tom. And I'll quickly do the raffle because Tom has to leave, and here is the
Yeah, I'm
final.
taking my 8-year-old, which I just mentioned, to a doctor's appointment. That's why I have to leave. Otherwise, I would love to spend more time. But to share, I already talked about we're gonna do another session maybe later this year or in 2026, so we
Yeah,
can talk more.
very, very soon. So, yeah, Anil Kumar was the first winner, and this is the final raffle of the day. So, all the best, everyone. Let's see who wins it. Yong Choi on LinkedIn is the second winner. Congratulations, Yong. If you can just connect with me on LinkedIn, I'll connect with you on LinkedIn. Please just share your name,
And
email
also,
address.
yeah, I want to thank you for the question, Yang. I think you have got a good question earlier. And thank you to Shar for hosting this. It's been fantastic. My pleasure to have this session and to
Yes.
interact with the audience.
Thank you, Tom. Thank you, everyone. And congratulations, Anil Kumar and Yong, for winning the book. And yeah, I'll see you tomorrow. I have another session tomorrow with Math
Okay.
Workbook. Yeah. And I'll be back with Tom very, very soon. So thank you,
Okay.
everyone.
Thank you so much for joining. I'll see you soon. Bye bye.
Bye.